What's up guys, USA Made here. Today we're going to talk about how to choose the right everyday carry knife for you. I know there's a lot of different companies, a lot of different styles, and it can be a little overwhelming when you're first getting into this community. So with this video I'm going to try to help pick out, or not help pick out, but help you choose what knife is going to be best for you. I know there's a lot of different uses that you can use a blade for. You're just going to carry it every day and do some random tasks like opening boxes or packages or envelopes, or you're gonna need it for some food preparation, maybe a camping trip, maybe a tactical blade, some self-defense, and there's different types and different styles of blades that will fulfill each of those uses. So let's get started with some blades. Now on the smaller end, and a little small in my opinion, at the AK-47 Mini with a 2.34 inch blade, as you were, 2 3/4 inch blade. This is a little on the small end because this is limiting you to how much you can do with your knife. Now I'm going to pull up an apple, just kind of on a small end apple. It won't quite get through this apple. A little short. So, in my opinion, if you're going to do an overall EDC, a good blade will be between 3 and 4 inches. How about the Kershaw Skyline? This is a great little everyday carry knife. This has, we'll bring in the dollar bill so you can see. Hold it at the base of the knife. This has 3 1/8 inch blade. Perfect little size. Great feel, lightweight. This will be a good all-around everyday carry knife. How about the Spyderco Tenacious? A little bit bigger, coming in at 3.4 inches. Dollar bill again. Blocking the light. This is right in the middle of that scale that I gave you, that 3 to 4 inch scale. This would be a great everyday carry knife, but it's got its downsides. It is a little heavy. If you're carrying a pretty big load already, if you're a police officer or military personnel, then it's a little heavy for those uses. Or how about the Spyderco Pacific Salt? Now this is on the much larger end of that scale at 3.8 inches. Put up the dollar bill against that. Almost a 4-inch blade. This almost fulfills that tactical use that I was talking about. That self-defense. A little bit more intimidating than a little 2.4 inch blade, or 2 3/4 inch blade. Let's say you do want a tactical knife, but this isn't really the look that you want. Well, maybe the Cold Steel AK-47 Mini is the look that you want, but it's not the right size. Well, guess what? Cold Steel makes bigger knives that'll fit your use. So there's different companies that kind of focus on different uses. Next thing to think about is, how much do I want to spend on my blade? It's a pretty good question because there's a pretty big variety. You can spend between $20 to $25 to a few $100s on a little folding knife. So you can go on the cheaper end of the scale and come at the Spyderco Tenacious around $25 to $30 depending on your shopping skills. Or on the more expensive end and come in with the Spyderco Pacific Salt around $50 to $60 depending on your shopping skills. How about the company? I know there's a lot of different companies and each of them has their own look. So maybe you like the tactical look of the Cold Steel, so maybe you go with Cold Steel. Or maybe you like the flow, the kind of organic look of the Kershaw Skyline. Or how about the Spyderco? You like that leafy design, that almost organic design too. Of the Spyderco with the big hole in there. That's their signature. No matter even if you get a fixed blade from Spyderco, still gonna have the hole. And last but not least is to think about is what's the environment I'm going to be using this blade in. Is it going to be extremely cold? Is it going to be extremely hot? Or is it going to be nice weather? Now that's a pretty big thing that most people skip over. They'll go off and buy aluminum or steel handle, and they're going to go out in midsummer in a desert, and they let their knife sit out in the sun, and they go to pick it up and burn themselves. Or how about exact opposite, and they go out in the woods in the middle of winter in a tundra, and they leave their knife even close to them, and they grab their knife and it freezes to them. So maybe you should think about getting a G10 handle, like almost all of my blades have. All this is G10 now. It's kind of an interesting texture to it. A little bit rougher on the AK-47. So maybe G10 isn't quite what you want. It's more of a harder, almost kind of like a rocky feel to it. Maybe you want a more plastic, lighter handle. So maybe you want to go with an FRN. That is fiberglass reinforced nylon. Kind of a more plasticky feel, very hard plastic. Maybe this is what you want, like this Spyderco Pacific Salt has, with a volcano style grip to it. Lots of things to think about, and really comes down to what you prefer. Somebody can recommend stuff to you, that's fine and dandy, but is what looks good to you, how much do you want to spend, and what is the environment you are going to be in. Now, it's all about you. So with that said, if you want my opinion on something or a little help on deciding, feel free to message me in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to answer you and give you some opinions. Now, if none of these knives that I showed you today look like, as you were, if none of these knives are what you really want, well, go look at the company's website. They have lots of different knives on their websites, and you'll be able to get a good feel of what you want. So with all that said, this is USA Made. Peace.